2024. It is the Eagles Outlook right here on Eagles 102.3 FM, and it is your political, and current affairs show that allows for you to be a part of conversations as they trend. We will look at matters that concern, the Nigerian society, and of course, what is the trending in the society today. It is no news the fact that the situation in Nigeria is definitely complex and quite multifaceted. The food prices have risen significantly in recent months, and we'll look into matters that concern, the sudden scarcity in fuel, and also look at other, related issues. My name is Uduak Daniel, and I'm here with
Natural Princess in the studio.
That's right.
It's a good day. Well, this morning we're going to pay attention, just like Uduak had mentioned, looking at the prices of food going up, the food crisis imminent. The Food and Agriculture Organization, as well as the World Food Program, has said there's going to be food crisis across the African continent, especially the sub-Saharan Africa, and it is already emerging. And now protests are erupting in some parts of the country. Yesterday we saw protests in Niger State, Mina, the state capital, where mostly women came out to protest, young people came out to protest as well. But somehow the governor said, "Oh, those were hoodlums. Those were people who wanted to hijack food trucks coming from Lagos." Said a similar situation played out 2 days ago in Kano State, where also young people and women were on the streets protesting the cost of living and high food prices. This is where we found ourselves. Fuel queues are returning to most parts of the country. In some cities, FCT, Abuja yesterday also had its fair share of it, where people found it really hard to get fuel. This morning we would be talking with Mr. Daniel Obaje. He is a public affairs analyst. He's joining us in a conversation this morning to share thoughts with us on these issues. How long and how much more can we take? At what point would all of these be over? We see these emerging trends of protest here, pockets of protest here and there. Would it culminate into something else, or would it just be addressed? The wife of the president has said that it's going to be over soon. The hardship will be over soon. We're also seeing that the CBN governor has been speaking. The minister of finance, as well as the minister of coordinating minister of the economy, speaking and saying things will get better, and Nigerians just hold on a little. But again, how long? How much more longer? And how much more patience do Nigerians need to exercise? Like I mentioned before, my guest is joining us this morning, Mr. Daniel Obaje, a public affairs analyst, joining us in the conversation this morning. Mr. Obaje, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, my brother Inacho. How are you? And how is the weather treating you there?
Well. The cost of food is going up, and that's a source of concern for many Nigerians. Sure. Inflation currently at over 33%. Food inflation, that is over 33%. And, it's biting really hard. When people go to the market this morning, by the time it's evening, the prices of things have changed. And that's a source of concern. Some people say, look, there are lots of Nigerians who go to bed every night hungry. How does this meet you, and what are your thoughts regarding the economic situation in the country?
My brother, it is glaring to everybody to see that Nigerians are not just hungry, Nigerians are helpless. The economic situation is biting hard. If you watch on the news yesterday, the protests going on in Niger, very close to us here, to the city center, to our FCT, Niger State is boiling because of hunger. The hunger is ravaging the land, and then our leaders keep on giving a hopeless hope. These people are living in prestige. They have not. See, Nigerians are tired of their promises. Nigerians are tired of their promises. If they don't know what to do, they should quit, because they continue to give Nigerians hope. And in the scope of this, in the face of their giving us hope, all we see is more difficulties, more hardship. My brother, you said in opening remarks that people are going about, going to their sleep with hunger in their belly. It is happening every day. But the insensitive attitude of our leaders is killing Nigerians. Whereas they are living in affluence, they don't go, we see how they go about in flamboyancy, in convoy. In fact, it's sudden, it's painful. It's painful. Right. That leaders are not providing solution. The palliative they talk about, no Nigerian is seeing palliative. The cost of transportation is on the increase. Production, I listened to Bismarck, the economics on television yesterday. He was talking about production. That there is no economy. They need to block loopholes and then give, pay attention to production and production and production. How can economy grow without production? The farmers cannot go to farm because of herdsmen attack. The kidnapping everywhere. It is the hardship that is putting pressures on some of these Nigerians that have no other means of eating, that are going into kidnapping. Criminality is sponsored by hardship. Nobody, see, the police and the army, they are doing a good job, but they cannot contain these people. And how many are there in number? When people are facing a hardship, in fact, the hardship that is going on is monumental. We have never witnessed it before in our history. We see, this is the problem, and that is what I don't know. When Yaradua was there, everybody hardship. When Jonathan was in government, everybody were complaining. Good Lord go. The hardship is too much. Look at what the APC government are giving to Nigerians. Hardship in a monumental volume that nobody ever imagined in this country. My brother, look at the rate of dollar to Niger. 1,366, 56 naira per dollar. How do we get here? And every day, the first lady will say this, the president will say this, the minister will say this, minister of finance, and then the governor of central bank will say another thing. My brother, this change they talk about, we are not seeing it. It's theoretical. We want practical evidence. We want proofs. Nigeria want food on their table. Is it too much to ask of our leaders?
I mean, there's a lot of things that Nigerians, really are expecting, from the current administration, or not just the current administration, but government in general. But would you say that the efforts that administrations before now, up until this administrations, have continued to put in this regard, would you say that these efforts have yielded some sort of progress in the lives of the citizenry? Or are we just being reactionary and not proactive?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's not that Nigerians are asking for too much. My brother, the effort of Mr. President, the former president, in the person of Buhari, down to Tinubu, we have not witnessed any tangible improvement in the lives of the people of Nigeria. Now, my brother, check the indices. Unemployment is all-time high. Unemployment. Youths are being thrown out of our universities and NYC camp every year without jobs, moving about aimlessly, helplessly, without directions. My brother, the workers, they said, go and interview workers, only they cannot talk. Some of these workers are finding it very difficult to feed their family, to pay tuition fees. Now, do you know what the worst thing that is happening now? Even landlords are increasing rents. As I speak with you, just on the lighter note, in church that I'm well connected with, the landlord just, with his caretaker, went and locked up the church without quick notice, without any prior notice that the church will quit. No indication of whatsoever. And they are telling the church, why did you lock up our church? They said the prices of things have gone up and they are increasing their rent from 800 to 500, and if the church cannot pay, they should quit. As I speak with you, the church is locked up. That is to tell you the pressure of Nigerians. People are hungry. Landlords are increasing rent astronomically without recourse to the pains and suffering of their tenants, and this goes across all the state of the federation. So my brother, what can they say? You see, this is the problem. You are insensitive to the plight of your people, and yet you call yourself a leader. You are imposing policies, you are imposing guidelines and rules on the people. Democracy is not supposed to be a dictatorial, process. It's supposed to be, like as they define democracy, government of the people by the people. You are supposed to listen to the yearnings and aspiration of your people, and then formulate policies that are geared towards elevating their suffering. If Nigerians are having it good, nobody will complain. Right now, we should be clapping for the president or the government of the day. But my brother, nobody can say now that I can go to bed with 3 square meal in my stomach. No Nigerian can do that. Can say that comfortably, except the political elite.
I doubt that no Nigerian can say that they go to bed without 3 square meal in their stomachs, because there's a lot of people who are actually doing well. Speaking of policies, you mentioned policies of government that have worked and have failed over time. The Anchor Bora program is one of such policies spearheaded by the CBN, and the CBN came out last year to say that they spent over 1.9 trillion naira between 2015 to 2023 to solve the food crisis problem, as well, especially for rice, which it was supposed to do a backward integration at some point, when the Buhari administration said the administration was going to diversify the economy using agriculture, and that money is, some people have said, has gone down the drain. 1.9 trillion naira in about 8 years, and nothing seems to be, on ground to signify that such an amount was spent, because most of the farmers aren't even unable to repay the loan. So it seems like that money has just gone down the drain in the last administration. What do you say about these policies? Because this current administration has declared a state of emergency on food insecurity, giving out fertilizers and all of that to farmers, and improve seedlings, as they say.
Yes, my brother, how will it work? And then talking about the policy of the Anchor Bora program of CBN. It's not a program that's supposed to be run by CBN. CBN is a regulator. What CBN is supposed to do is to play their traditional role of regulating the banks, and then give this money to either Bank of Agriculture or Bank of Industry. And because it has to do with agriculture, Bank of Agriculture is quite positioned to handle such program and monitor those who are collecting the money. But in the days of especially, what do we get? When they talk about the rice pyramid in Abuja, and they assemble those rice, those rice in Abuja, I told some of my friends, I said, this is scam. At the end of the day, we didn't see anything. No, the prices of rice after that show that they demonstrated, rice price skyrocketed. We are talking about local rice production here, not even imported rice. Now we also learned that their friends and colleagues we are giving those loans. Those loans we are giving to politicians, and these politicians are not farmers. Do you get? And at the end of the day, what do they tell us? They said that because of the rain that came, the flood that ravaged the land, and then some of them that we are giving the loan, they didn't turn up to pay the loan. Who is to be blamed? Nigeria is only country that you have confusion and then juggling of policy left, right, and center. Don't you see? Only Nigeria, you have 3 kind of currency. Naira, our 1,000 note is in 2 colors. Our 500 naira note is in 2 colors. Our 200 naira note is in 2 colors. What a confusion! That is a confusion that Buhari and Emefiele brought to us. That the only country in the world where they have 1,000 naira note in 2 different colors. 2 different colors. That is to show you the state of confusion of our leaders.
Well, Mr. I'd love us to be a little.
Government, they're talking about giving fertilizers, giving a fine incentive, declaring emergency in agriculture. My brother, how many Nigerians are going to farm right now? Throughout the North Central, then the Northeast, how many farmers are going to farm right now? There is a threat of Fulani herdsmen, so people can go to farm. And majority of the food we get in the city center are being supplied to the rural areas by these peasant farmers. How many of them can go to farm? So my brother, let them talk about something else. Nigerians are not deceived. We are not kids. Get insecurity first. Get these people out of the way. When you settle insecurity, then our people can go into the bush and produce. But right now, people are going to the farms with fear in their heart.
Let's talk about the insecurity for a bit. Pay attention to that for a moment. The insecurity is, it's getting out of hand. People can no longer travel peacefully. People cannot even stay in their own homes, even though they say we don't want to. Also, don't go out so you don't get kidnapped. Even right in the other homes or in their homes, people get abducted. People get killed.
Just yesterday, just yesterday, a vehicle coming from the east, passing through Lokoja, GIG transport and one other transport. The kidnappers kidnapped them, 12 of them, into the bush. Luckily, the driver was rescued by security operators. Are you getting me? So tell me, if travelers on the federal highway are not safe, is it farmers in the bush that will be safe? The insecurity is getting out of hand. And let me tell you, security experts will tell you what fuel insecurity, what fuel anger, what fuel disorder in society. It is when the people have lost hope in the capacity of the government or the governance structure to take care of them. They go find means of how they can take care of them. And that is why we are seeing, insecurity is fueled by lack, by hunger. It is not that some of these people they deliberately want to kidnap, they deliberately want to go into crime. People go into crime because they don't have alternatives. When government is providing alternative, nobody will take to crime. It's not all of us that have the capacity or the means to decipher and think about other alternative and do legitimate businesses. So these are the things. And the government and the politicians are there. They will run their mouth on television. They will tell you this, they will tell you that. But around the police and the armed forces that they were suffering.
Well, Daniel Obaje, you should also be aware that in terms of insecurity, there has been efforts by previous administration, to ensuring that a range of measures are put to address some of these issues. In fact, the Nigerian military has conducted numerous operations. In fact, if you recall, Operation Lafayette Dole, the Operation Deep Punch, the Operation Restore Hope, there's been quite a number of operations. In fact, additionally, the government have also established what is called the National Counter-Terrorism Center, and this is responsible for coordinating the country's efforts to combating terrorism. What are we doing that we are getting it wrongly? If all of these policies and efforts have been put in place and we're seeing minimal success, what do you think?
My brother, we have the best military, the best military formations in the world, in the whole of Africa. When our military men go outside the shore of this country, they do marvelously well and gallantly well. It is not about the military, it's not about the police. The political class need to sit down and decipher what to do to bring about genuine solution. It's all about God. It's all about goodwill. It's all about morals. It's all about discipline. It's all about going to the people. See, some critical experts, some of them that we have listened to, this kinetic approach will not work. It will not solve the problem. We also need to use non-kinetic approach. The people are hungry. The people that are agitating for space, the people that are agitating for one thing or the other, the government need to sit down with them and do what we call dialogue. In the face of war, even the war that is going on in Ukraine, the war going on in between Israel and Hamas, it's all going to still end up on dialogue, on the table. We need these are our people. They are Nigerians. We need to call them to table of dialogue. We need to discuss. We need to look at the other ways of incentivizing the plight of the people. Not all that are educated, not all that are those who are even educated. Where is the job placement of them? Our factories are not working, the farms are not producing, people are not going to farm. We need to sit down and do the real work. And what is the real work? Production, and production. Nigeria need to be engaged. If Nigerians are engaged, nobody will take to crime.
Now, Mr. Bajay, I'd love us to talk about this and be a little solution driven. I like that you've proffered a couple of solutions to some of the problems.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So in this situation where the president has appointed ministers, it's been about 6 months, since they were appointed, and many Nigerians would say, look, we haven't really seen what the ministers are doing. We haven't seen them, getting really active as ministers who are supposed to serve the president and do, work for the president. It seems like we lost connection with Mr. Obaje. But
Okay.
Speaking of this, we have a situation where people are waiting on the ministers to show what, like we say in the streets, show working, right? Let's see what you're able to do. Let's see if you're Minister of Defense, what are you doing to ensure that Nigerians are secured? Your NSA, what are you doing to avert crises such as food crisis that's looming? What are you doing to ensure that these things do not get out of hand? Again, as the president cannot be everywhere, seems like we have reestablished connection with Mr. Obaje. Mr. Obaje, can you hear me?
I can hear you, my brother.
Okay, so I was saying that the president, they say, cannot be everywhere, and that's why he has ministers, right?
That's right.
Yes, we have ministers.
And
I always say over time, the focus of Nigerians is then the presidency, and not the presidency and the ministers are in one hand, they are in the center. What of the sub-nationals, the governors? What are they doing? The governors are supposed to be engaged with their people, to be productive. The governors of Nigeria, they are not doing anything. All they do is to plan their stooge and then think about the next election. They are not doing. Have you heard where you hear that a governor, a sub-national is implanting farm implement and they are carrying it large scale farming in their land? Nothing. All they do every quarter, they send their commissioner of finance and they come to collect, their monthly allocation and they go back home. That's all. And once the monthly allocation is given the base salary, the rest is history.
Well, at this point, many advocating restructuring and decentralization. Do you think that this would solve the problem? Because we would continue, or lots of Nigerians will continue to look at the president and the presidency if powers are not devolved, if we do not have what's referred to as true federalism. Do you think that this would solve the problem?
Not given the kind of setup of politicians we have now. If you even restructure and devolve power to the state, it will not change anything. In fact, it will get worse. In a situation whereby a man is the head of affairs of an organization, that man goes from the office and he takes all the files home. Nobody approves anything again until he comes back home. We are not building institution, we are building strong men. And these strong men are the one controlling the system. So how will it work? In a situation whereby the rule of law is meant for the poor and not for the rich, how will it work? In a situation where the high and mighty, those who are living in affluence, they control, they check the economy and the security and whatever decisions of politics in Nigeria, how will it work? These same people will hijack the system to their own benefit and to their own cronies. The way Nigeria is structured right now, my brother, we need to get it right at the leadership center, down to the sub-regionals. Then we can now begin to talk about restructuring. But if you talk about restructuring now, even the police, I was a strong supporter of state police creation. But these governors you are seeing, give them the right to have their own police. Nobody will sleep in that state. If you are a passive enemy, you can't sleep in that state. You will become a foreigner in your own state. You can't sleep. So my brother, it's not about restructuring. It's about our political class doing well for the people. Nigerians are not asking for too much. This I know. Nigerians are good people. Nigerians are people who are very, very resilient, who are committed, who are patriotic to their nation. For some of us, we don't have to ask citizenship. This is the only country we have. And we must do everything within our powers to speak out and to fit through the power. Our leaders do the right thing for the people. And what is that right thing we are asking for? Good governance, good education, good health care, production in terms of agriculture, and of course, look at our factories. None of them is working right now. The garment factory has gone down the drain. As of yesterday, I learned in Kano, they are selling flour for 30 something per bag. Bag of rice is going for 70,000. You can imagine. You can imagine.
Well, quite a number of things you've said right there, Daniel Obaje, and they're very factual. But then again, it is also very important. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. It is very important to note that some of these persons, when we talk about politicians and all of that, are supposed to put it in their minds to come together to seeing that things, get better in the country, and it's not just about enriching their pockets and everything. You must also identify the fact that these politicians are also from the society, and the society can only reflect, the doings of its people. Wouldn't you also say that what we see in the political scene is absolutely the same thing that we experience as a people in Nigeria? Is the same attitude? Should anybody be given the same chance as these politicians? I'm not speaking for them. I'm just saying, if anybody be given the same chance as these politicians, would we do any better than they did? Well, we'll take some time out to pay some bills because, of course, we have to pay some bills. But when we come back, of course, it will be the conversation still thriving right here on Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja. It is Eagles Outlook.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
According to global estimates, Nigeria, the giant of Africa, will grapple with approximately 20 million drug users by 2030, with 13% of them suffering from drug use disorders. What are the implications of drug and use of illicit substances on our public health, national security, economy, education, and even family? Join Oikeke Igaro Kure on robust discussions sharing facts on drugs. What are the solutions? How do we find help even for those affected? Together, let's break the cycle, kick out drugs, save our youth to save our nation. Recovery Road with Oikeke Igaro Kure. Coming soon to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio. Eagles 102.3.
Welcome back. Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned. It is the Eagles Outlook on Eagles 102.3 FM, your radio experience that you can count on, and we're still having that conversation, very, very viral now in the studio. And we've been talking to Daniel Obaje. Is a public affairs analyst, and we've been looking at matters that concern, the state of affairs in Nigeria today. Quite a number of issues have been, spoken about or mentioned, and quite a number would still be talked about, so that we can look at these issues very, very humanely and give it a head-on, assessment.
Absolutely, and we would open up the phone lines in a bit to get your thoughts in. So keep those numbers close: 090-7353-0044. and 09087668888. You want to send SMS and WhatsApp messages now? Make that to 09097054450. Now, Mr. Budget, let's talk about the foreign exchange and the numbers, how it's going. Yesterday, the Naira strengthening against the dollar at the official market, but was weakened in the parallel markets. Like you mentioned earlier, over 1,300 Naira per dollar as is. It's never been so. But since the structural adjustment, for those who don't know about it, the Naira has continued to lose its value up until now. At what point would we get to that, to the point where Nigerians actually begin to value their currency and value products from home as against foreign products that require us to spend the dollar, even against the Naira? You have businesses in Nigeria that price their goods in the dollar. What is
That is
this?
it.
What is this craze and crate for the dollar against the naira? What is going to? How do we get to the point where we're able to break that desire to spend the dollar even in Nigeria?
From top to the bottom, it has to start from the top to the bottom. Our political class, I always refer to them because they're the one that are spending this money. See, my brother, in a situation where even you are talking about the dollar, even our goods, our locally produced goods here in the country, our people prefer foreign imported goods to our locally made goods here in the country. So in the first instance, there is no deliberate act of the government to ensure that Nigeria produce what Nigerians need.
No deliberate
That
act.
is the way to go, because by the time you don't produce for enough for your citizen and then import to get hard-earned currency is a problem. In a situation where some institution of governance, of government agencies, even here in the country, if we will talk about even school fees, payment of school fees, tuition fees in universities and colleges, people, some private ones, they demand for dollar. You can imagine. You go to an agency, you want to pay for a bill, they will tell you bring dollar. The craze for foreign currency, the craze for the dollar is what is killing the economy. So if government wants to resolve this issue, it has to come from the top to the bottom. They must lead by example. My brother, if you don't live what you preach, how do you expect me to be converted and do what you preach? This is where the problem is.
Well, Mr. Daniel, you made a statement that there's been no efforts, made to ensuring, that we patronized locally produced products. But the Nigerian government has implemented a number of policies to promote the use of locally made products. In fact, some of these policies include the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan, which is aimed to boost industrial production and create jobs. There's also been, in addition, the government introducing a number of tax incentives for businesses that manufacture goods locally. But these policies are
wonderful policies, but they are all in paper, especially the one you mentioned. I'm not talking about tax, especially the one you mentioned of the industrial revolution on the production industry. My brother, if the jobs are created, you should have the numbers by now. It will be public notice. But where is the job? You see, these things are theoretical. These things are English. But can we feel the impact? Are people being employed? Look at the rate of unemployment. You just give us the figure right now of inflation rate, 33 point something or 32 point something. So my brother, what are we talking about?
Let's talk about this other factor that is also affecting the cost of food and other commodities in Nigeria.
Yes.
The price of PMS and the likes. The federal government.
Yeah, the price of PMS and the price of access to mobility that these peasant farmers can bring their produce to the city center, and of course the insecurity that is ravaging the land, particularly the north central and the northeast. Northeast. Yes. Then you talk about the inability of our farmers to access fund. Accessing fund for farming now is difficult because the commercial banks they can't lend to farmers, and if they want to lend to farmers, look at the percentage of the interest that need to be paid on these loans. How can a farmer who wants to loan maybe 1 million and you are expected to pay 23% of that money to the bank, how will you make up the margin and then get your profit? Of course, you talk about insecurity, we just talk about insecurity and we continue to talk about insecurity. Our people are not going to farm because of fear or being kidnapped. A lot of farmers right now, majority of them farms within their local environment. They are very close to the neighborhood where they live, and the land and the space are limited. But if you go beyond and you go into the bush or into the forest, there are massive land that have not been cultivated. Like I used to say, That Niger State alone, given the mass land in Niger State and the dams we have in Niger State, there should be what we call in and out of season farming, in Niger State that does not require either rainy season or whatever dry season to farm any crop at all, because the weather there, the landscape, the dams that we have there, Niger alone can feed the whole country because of their land mass. But what is the government of the day doing? What is even Niger State thinking about? Then you leave Niger State, you go to Upper North. My brother, then of course the North Central that is the food base of the country, has become a bloodbath of the country. The farmers can no longer do the farm. And all these are direct indices that affect productions and the prices of food in the market. My brother, today, as little, as common as onions and pepper, you can hardly lay your hand on them to cook a good stew for your family to eat.
All right, so, Mr. Baje,
whatever policy we are making that is not having direct impact on the people and the farming output, then it is not working. Whatever that you are doing that is not working, change it.
All right, hold on now. We'd have to bring in our listeners, those who have been following the conversation. Chip in one or two thoughts so that we have a robust conversation here. 09073530044 and 09087668888. Those are the numbers to call, and you can send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 09097054450. Hello, good morning. Right, we'll lost connection with that one.
All right.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You're speaking to Emmanuel.
Okay.
And I'm calling you from Budapest.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. You see, I just want to say something, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. I believe Nigerians are listening to me. And, in a country, as a nation, we are not the only country that has issues on the table. When you go to advanced countries, where they have issues that is affecting the economy, affecting insecurity, they sit on the round table. They reason each other. How are we going to solve the issue that is affecting us? Now, everybody will bring idea. The idea will they will come together, the idea, and then they will share the idea together, and then they will combine and see how they can solve their problem. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have issues in Nigeria. We have issues for insecurity, food. A lot has been going on for the past 8 and 9 years. It's like long ago, And then I expect Nigerians to speak out solutions, bring out solutions. It's not just about complaining, condemning, hitting on the politicians, hitting on the leaders. I'm not a politician and I don't support anybody. If you do well, I will support you. I will speak about it. If you do wrong, I will speak about it. Are you hearing me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I expect the people to bring out solutions. It's not just like condemning. Okay, it has happened. It's happening. We have seen what is the problem.
All right.
How are we going to get to the leaders, to let them know what is going on, and then how we can solve what is affecting us?
All right. Thank you so very much. We'll thank you so much for calling. Appreciate. Let's take yet another one. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. What's your name? All right, Elder. Welcome. Go ahead.
Let me go directly to this. I'm not a politician.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me answer that caller. Which security party has advising the government? Government don't hear advice. Let's say we are going to fail now. Which security party will have advised the government? Call a security complaint.
We can hear you.
Call the retired general, retired head of state, retired professor, retired chief judge.
let them sit down and discuss about of insecurity in Nigeria and the economic in Nigeria. The government can't listen to us. Don't say that they are not advising the government. We have tried government again. Declare state of emergency in insecurity in Nigeria. The army came out with all the weapons to deal with this boys. They refuse. Some are special force. Nigeria, this insurgency war is a guerrilla war. Nigeria police, they are not trained to fight insurgency. We have best army in the world, best police in the world, but they are not trained to fight insurgency. The people to fight insurgency, they are special force. The government refused to hear. What did you want us to tell government again? If people are talking about what is happening, somebody will come and say they are criticizing the government. We security parties have told the government they refuse. And then let me tell Nigeria today, you see a corrupt country ruled by corrupt men. The honest people in this country are great enemies. And then let me tell Nigeria today, I mean Club 70, every corrupt country, and you to the Kenya. Every corrupt country, you to the Kenya. But the youth in Nigeria will talk too much without action. We talk too much. And instead of us to change the government and change the government, not by this is change the government. We continue complaining.
All right.
If you youth want Nigeria to be ready, they may come out and change the government.
All right, Elder, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nigerians, Colin, I mean, I'm thinking maybe it's high time the Tinubu administration convenes a National Council of State meeting, or maybe even revisit the 2015 or 2014 National Confab resolutions to see if there's something there that they may want to adopt. I mean, that was Nigerians and, from all walks of life coming together to speak about their country. Maybe, just maybe, that's going to help the situation. Mr. Obaje, we're just talking about, what to do next. Do you think that it's high time we, convene another national confab, or go back to looking at the resolutions from the previous confab during the Jonathan administration, or perhaps just have a Council of State meeting where Nigerians from all walks of life can come around and proffer solutions to the problems and then implement them?
Another confab is not an issue, because that will amount to another jamboree, spending of money, bringing people all together to come and spend and waste our resources, the meager resources, the resources that we don't even have in the first place. My brother, the solution is very simple. It's not rocket science. It's all about you deciding as a political leader to do good for your people. It's all about political will. If you have the political will, if you have the mindset that you are coming into governance, you are coming into office, you is to make sure you do good for you do good to your people. But brother, everybody will see it. Everybody will see it. What you don't know, you will call on people to advise you. That is why you need, as a president, you need advisors. You need ministers around you. You deliberate on issues. And then send your people to the grassroots to know where these problems are. When you have, first and foremost is for you to identify your problem. Then when you identify the problem, like the doctors will do, they will say, okay, you have come for consultants and you want to know what is wrong with you. The first thing they will say, go and do a test. They diagnose what is wrong with you. Then from there, the doctor can now prescribe the right prescription that will be used to treat that ailment. And then maybe this ailment is something that maybe in the space of time you have to take drugs, you have to take injections. That is what we need in this country. A holistic sitting down of our leaders to sit down and look at the problem of Nigeria holistically and say, where did we get it wrong? What do we do now to remedy the situation in the short time, in the long time, and in the future, that these things will never occur again? You see, it's not difficult. We are talking about agriculture earlier. Get the farmers to produce, and even those who want to produce in large volumes, identify those crops, like wheat for instance, like maize for instance, like potatoes, all these crops, like potatoes, like Irish, like onions, and what have you. These are produce that on a daily basis Nigeria make use of them. If possible, delegate the Civil Defense Authority to man these farms to protect the farmers. Take care of insecurity and let farmers return back to farm. I will tell you, the prices of food will clash. What is also the federal government doing about our petroleum? There is so much noise about securing our waterways and then curbing theft, oil theft. Our crude oil that is supposed to bring in enough dollars to the system. They said they have removed fuel subsidy. We believe that the impact of the removal of fuel subsidy should be now, by now, Nigeria is supposed to feel the impact of the money that is coming in from fuel subsidy. So it's not about creating another confab or another discourse. It's about our leaders from the local local government to the state level and to the federal level. All we need is a sincerity of purpose of our leaders to do the needful.
All right, Mr. Bajay, just hold on now. We'll bring in more callers to share thoughts with us. Apologies there. That's the quality in that was quite terrible. You want to take the messages?
All right, let's take some messages right now. And this one right here says, good morning, says Nigeria economy has a peculiar nature that have defer all pragmatic economy solution, and says Nigeria is an inflated economy orchestrated by non-market forces but speculative forex. We are not the only second stairs economy that's using dollars to trade. Why are things so difficult in Nigeria than any other country in Africa, whereby we are all using dollar to import good from the same market? Go to Cotonou, rice cars, food items, very much cheaper, but when the items are imported into Nigeria, the price hits the roof. The CBN actually has a lot of work on her hands to see how she can regulate the prices of goods. Abbas from Duse right there. And this one says, good morning, Ihanacha. I told you earlier that this administration has no problem. I don't have any reason to blame them. Okay, I'm just going to, quite a number of things coming from you. That's this Komode from Kubwa, but not what I would want to put out there on air. But the conversation.
So, I just tried to read the message. You say, were there not some people who campaigned heavily against, heavily for the current tickets that we have at the presidency? Was it not the same people that voted massively to see that this administration succeeded? So now we are in it for it, or rather, you say. So now we're in for it. I knew right from time that this administration has no plans or agenda. They just picked or kicked out PDP administration. All the ministers we have today are those who campaigned for the success of the president, and most of them are not capable. So my submission is allow the president to rotate the nation as he sees fit. 2027 is fast approaching, and I hope we would have learned our lessons. Thank you very much, Kumode. And who's here now? Abdullahi Kano says, honestly speaking, Nigeria is getting to its final breath as a nation. I don't think so. I don't think if Nigeria will survive the current challenge, because God can't come from heaven to put things in order. Prayers of 100 years can't work without action, biblically and Quranically. Why are we deceiving ourselves? I challenge the cleric from both Islam and Christianity to come out and explain. We can never forgive our clerics, politicians, traditional rulers, richest businessmen, some of our security men, and some personnel from our judiciaries. They have jeopardized the future of our country. Too bad. Abdullahi Mekano there. And this one's from who now? Omotayo from Galadima. You say, you see, sincerely, the truth is, if the Nigerian government make me, Omotayo, a minister in the area of insecurity and give me the go-ahead and free hand to do my job properly, I bet you that this issue of insecurity in Nigeria will go down the drain in less than 3 months by the special grace of God. Because playing politics with hunger and insecurity is the very reason why those at the helm of affairs of leadership of Nigeria are not saying anything or speaking out about the extreme level of criminality, intimidation, and defamation of character among themselves in power. No wonder the system just keeps going round and round the same rotten path over the years. We're completely tired of bearing the pain of the errors of our leaders while in and out of office. Our leaders cannot continue to sit and get paid in offices when they yet don't perform on their mandates and assignments which they were voted in for. Nigeria unite and demand for your rights. That's what you say, Omotayo. Thank you very much. And this is where we'd have to wrap up the conversation. But before we go, Mr. Obaje, what would be your final thoughts to Nigerians, considering that, some people have said we are at the tipping point. We need to be careful at this time so we don't lose the only country that we have.
Yeah, there's no cause for alarm. Nigerians always overcome. And we are a praying nation, we are a religious nation. And I believe that God will see us through. And Nigeria will come back again. And things will begin to work for the betterment of the rest of us, by the grace of God.
And very well said. Good place to leave the conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Obaje, Public Affairs Analyst. Always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for being on the show today. We hope to have more conversations with you. Thank you again. And this is where we leave you. To everyone who's been a part of it, thank you so much for being there. My name is Iheanacho Prince.
And my name is Udwak Daniel. Until tomorrow, have a great day.